All right, let's dive right in. NVIDIA's new Blackwell GPUs are on the scene. And for anyone into AI and creative work, there's one massive question. Which one should you get? Do you go for the absolute monster, the RTX 5090, or its very, very capable little brother, the 5080? Well, in this explainer, we're going to break it all down. The specs, the real-world performance, and the key differences that'll help you make that call.
And you know, this quote from NVIDIA's CEO, Jensen Huang, just hits the nail on the head. This is a huge deal. The whole idea is that this insane AI power, stuff that used to be totally locked away in giant data centers, is now literally landing on our desks at home. It's ready for us to use. And these two cards, they are leading the charge.
Okay, let's cut right to the chase. If you only remember one number from this entire breakdown, make it this one. When we're talking about deep learning and AI tasks, on average, the RTX 5090 is a whopping 27% faster than the 5080. So now the fun part. Let's figure out where that massive performance gap actually comes from.
So, how in the world does the 5090 get that 27% edge? Well, to get that, we've got to pop the hood and look at the tech that's driving these things. And it all, and I mean all, starts with the new Blackwell architecture.
Blackwell is the brand new engine for the entire 50 series. And this isn't just a tiny update. We're talking about brand new 5th generation tensor cores. Those are the little brains specifically designed for AI. Plus huge upgrades for rendering and ray tracing. This is the secret sauce that makes all the other magic possible.
Okay, here it is, the full spec sheet. Now, I know that is a wall of numbers, but don't sweat it. We're just going to focus on the 3 big differences that really matter for AI work. Honestly, they tell the whole story.
First up, VRAM, video memory. Think of it like your digital workbench. The RTX 5080 gives you a really nice, big 16GB workbench. Pretty awesome. But the 5090, it doubles it, 32 gigabytes. Having a workbench that massive means you can tackle much bigger AI models, more complex scenes, and higher resolution textures without even breaking a sweat.
Okay, so if VRAM is the size of your workbench, what are tensor cores? Well, think of them as your specialized AI robot workers. The 5090 is packed with 680 of these super efficient 5th-gen workers, and they can perform over 3,300 trillion AI calculations a second. It's nuts. The 5080 is still a beast, don't get me wrong, but with 336 cores, the 5090 just has more than double the raw AI horsepower.
But, you know, there's always a trade-off, right? All that incredible performance comes at a cost, and that cost is power. The RTX 5090 is an absolute monster, but it also drinks a massive 575 watts of power. That's more than some people's entire computers use. The 5080, on the other hand, is much more balanced and efficient at 360 watts. That makes it a way more practical choice if you're worried about your electricity bill or keeping your computer cool.
So we've looked at the specs, more memory, more cores, a whole lot more power. But let's get real. How does this stuff actually translate from a spreadsheet into results that you can see and feel when you're working?
And that's really the most important question, isn't it? What does all this tech actually mean for you when you're generating AI art, or you're rendering a 3D scene, or you're playing with other creative AI tools?
And check this out. This is where it gets really interesting. For a super popular tool like Stable Diffusion, that spec advantage we talked about means the RTX 590 is anywhere from 30 to 50% faster. That is a huge time saver, especially if you're working at high resolutions or trying to generate a whole bunch of images at once.
And it's not just about AI art. Both of these GPUs are absolute champs at a whole bunch of demanding stuff. They are fantastic for high-quality text-to-speech, for running some of those smaller AI models right on your own machine, and of course, they deliver just unbelievable performance for video encoding, 3D rendering, and yeah, gaming.
Now, these cards are both incredibly powerful. But before you get too excited and rush to add one to your cart, we really need to talk about their limits. There's a super important thing you have to understand.
And here it is, plain and simple. These are GeForce cards, built for us, for consumers. They are absolutely not designed for training massive large language models like GPT. That is a whole different ballgame.
So why is that? Well, it really just comes down to scale. Training a huge language model is like trying to build an entire city from scratch. A GeForce card, even the 5090, is like a state-of-the-art workshop. You can build some incredible things in it, but to build a whole city, you need a full-scale factory with way more resources, especially memory.
Even the 5090's massive 32 gigs just isn't close to enough for those giant enterprise-level models.
Okay, so we've covered the tech, the real-world speed, and the big limitations. Let's bring it all home and help you make your final choice. And it really boils down to one thing: raw, untamed power versus smart, balanced efficiency. So, which GPU is for you? Look, if you're a pro or a serious enthusiast who just needs the fastest thing money can buy for heavy AI work, rendering, and high-end gaming, and you can handle the power bill, the RTX 5090 is the undisputed king, no question. But for pretty much everyone else, the RTX 5080 gives you incredible performance in a much more efficient, sensible package. It's just fantastic value.
Now, we've just been scratching the surface here. If you want to go even deeper and see all the benchmarks and nerdy technical data, you can read the full, in-depth comparison over at the URL you see on the screen. And of course, we'll have that link for you down in the description.
And that kind of brings us to the final thought here. We've seen the raw power of the 5090 and the brilliant balance of the 5080. But as this level of AI power becomes the new normal on our computers, the real question isn't just which card should I buy, it's what new, amazing things are you going to create with it? The tools are here, the future is yours to build.